Throughout the Bible, from Genesis to Revelation, the presence of black people is very evident and cannot be denied, if only you care enough to study the Bible without any European bias. Genesis chapter 2, verse 7. And the Lord God formed man of the dust of the ground, and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living soul. God created the first man Adam from the dust of the earth. His body was made out of mud or clay. In the Hebrew, Adam, or Adam, is defined as swarthy, dusky, reddish-brown soil, dark-skinned like a shadow. See McGee-Livers, The Biblical History of Black Mankind. Webster's Dictionary defines the word swarthy as, being of a dark hue or dusky complexion, tawny, black, as the swarthy African. In warm climates, the complexion of men is universally swarthy or black. While the word dusky is defined as, tending to blackness in color, partially black, dark-colored, not bright, as a dusky brown. The word dust as used in Genesis chapter 2, verse 7, in the Hebrew language, is afar, and it is defined as, the soil from which Adam was made, meaning, dust, clay, always very black or very dark brown in color. See McGee-Livers, The Biblical History of Black Mankind. The Quran, the holy book of the Muslims, confirms the reading of the Bible in Genesis chapter 2, verse 7, that God created Adam out of black mud and fashioned him into shape. Surah Al-Hijr chapter 15, verse 26 to 28. Surely we created man of dry wringing clay of black mud wrought into shape, and when your Lord said to the angels, See, I am creating a man of dry wringing clay, of black mud wrought into shape. The evidence from the Bible, and other religious books, proves that Adam and Eve looked like the people white nations call Negroes. This fact cannot be overemphasized any better than that. Genesis chapter 2, verse 8 and 10 to 14. And the Lord God planted a garden eastward in Eden, and there he put the man whom he had formed. And a river went out of Eden to water the garden, and from thence it was parted, and became into 4 heads. The name of the first is Pison, that is it which compasseth the whole land of Havilah, where there is gold. And the name of the second river is Gihon, the same is it that compasseth the whole land of Ethiopia. And the name of the third river is Hiddekel, that is it which goeth toward the east of Assyria. And the fourth river is Euphrates. The Garden of Eden was described in Genesis as having been near a 4-river system in the region of the lands of Cush, Havilah, and Asshur, which today would be near the borders of eastern Sudan, Ethiopia, and Eritrea. The birthplace of humanity was confirmed when the oldest human remains were found in Ethiopia in 1974. Science and the Bible are often at odds, but one thing both confirm is that the birthplace of humanity was in East Africa. Gerd Muller, Eden, the biblical garden discovered in East Africa. Worldwide, scientists agree that the Garden of Eden was in Northeast Africa, and that the first man Adam was an African.
Jefferson may look European, but his Y chromosome tells a different story. It shows that what we look like may not really tell us where we come from. And it raises a question mark over the traditional image of Adam. For centuries, artists have depicted him like this, like a European. For many of us, this is Adam. Michelangelo's famous painting in the Vatican Sistine Chapel. He looks like a beautiful Italian who spends a lot of time in the gym. Did the common ancestor of all men really look like this? The story of Jefferson suggests he could have looked very different. Finally, Wells comes face to face with the man he's been searching for. A new portrait of the common ancestor of every man today. Adam. Without a skull, we can't know for sure what Adam looked like. But a combination of genetic evidence, Bender's forensic skills, and cutting-edge computer software suggest he looks something like this. Thousands of years after the Bible, and hundreds of years after Michelangelo, we have a whole new face for Adam.
I like the expression. He's got a very forceful look.
You know, he's intent on something, maybe taking over the world. You know, you begin to get perhaps an insight into why these guys won out and why this guy's our ancestor.
Scientists from around the world have proven that humankind originated in Northeast Africa, and the world's first man was black. Genesis chapter 3, verse 20. And Adam called his wife's name Eve, because she was the mother of all living. According to the Bible, from Adam and Eve comes all the races of the world. All brown, yellow, red and white people come from Adam and Eve. It is a scientific fact that black couples can produce babies of all shades of black. Genetically, white people cannot produce black, brown, or yellow babies. According to an article that was written by Andy Soltis, and published by the New York Post on July 21, 2010, a black couple, Ben Iegbalo and Angela Iegbalo, had a white baby girl with blonde hair and blue eyes. The following is an excerpt from the article. Genetics experts don't believe in miracles, but they didn't have any simple answers to the mystery of baby Michi. Instead, they offered 3 theories. 1. She's the result of a gene mutation unique to her. If that is the case, Michi would pass the gene to her children and they, too, would likely be white. 2. She's the product of long dormant white genes, passed on to her by her parents, that might have been carried by their predecessors for generations without surfacing until now. 3. While doctors have said Michi is not an outright albino, or lacking in all pigment, they added that the child may have some kind of mutated version of the genetic condition, and that her skin could darken over time. The first parents of all mankind were black people, and they came from Northeast Africa. Africa is the mother of all humankind, and it is known as the cradle of human civilization.